Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Feeling good. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Before I start with the video, I gotta say this. Thank you and shout out to everybody who supports and wish me a happy birthday. Today is my birthday. Shout out to all the Aries. Shout out to my dude, strength and conditioning trainer, Tony Brady. It's his birthday. We share a birthday. I think Aretha Franklin and probably some more people. So if it's your birthday or you're an Aries birthday, then shout out to you, Aries. Hold it down. Definitely stubborn, but we hold it down and get stuff done. So thanks for everyone who sent messages, reached out to me. I appreciate that. Now let's get to the order of business. What you guys seen in the clip at the beginning. Canelo looks ferocious. It looks like he's putting on the size well, or it's not really about putting on size. He's not having to cut. He looks sharp because I think Canelo for a while was getting kind of big, and he was just, him and his team elected to stay at Canelo weight. I was born ready weight of 155 or 154 in his last fight versus Liam Smith, but I think he was starting to rapidly outgrow it and having to do more and more, because I've just seen in terms of, it's weird with weight, when you see somebody, they can weigh a certain amount, but you still see that they look bigger. Like if I watch Canelo versus Josecito Lopez, that weigh-in versus him in his other fights, and not just the weigh-in but the rehydrations at the night of the fight, you know what I mean? Like look at the Josecito Lopez and the weigh-in and the rehydration the fight night a couple years ago versus him rehydrating versus his last two opponents, Amir Khan or guys like Liam Smith. He just looks like he's bigger, right? And thus having to do more to make the weight of 154/155, whatever weight he chose to fight at for that particular fight. But you guys seen the clip at the beginning. That's a fresh clip of Canelo. He's training hard for May 6th. It's a grudge match. It's a bragging rights match. I wrote an article on the website boxingego.com. I've linked to it in the description. The article is basically my thoughts about Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I think this is a shot at redemption. All will be forgiven if Chavez Jr., most importantly, if he wins. But even if he did really good and maybe hurt Canelo more than other people, I think all those would be a redemption for Chavez Jr. So make sure you guys check out the article. I think Canelo knows he's up against someone who's actually bigger than him this time, and it looks like he's dedicated and taking it seriously. So I'm really looking forward to this fight. I've never been mad at this fight. Some people are like, what? Why is he doing this? He's not fighting Golovkin straight away. Trust me, look, I want to see Canelo versus Golovkin, but I really think this is a good gauge to even see how competitive the Golovkin fight would be, because if you can't beat Chavez Jr., and not to say Chavez Jr. fights exactly like Golovkin, because I do believe Chavez Jr. is more of a pressure fighter. He'll put more constant pressure on you no matter who you are. If you got cracks, if you're a boxer, if you're a mediocre puncher, like one of the last guys he fought, like Reyes or Dominic Britch or something. It doesn't matter who you are. Guys with cracks like Andy Lee, guys who have good power like Sergio Martinez, he fights the same way. Golovkin has showed time and time again that if you put him in there with a guy who has a punching power or a KO ratio that rivals his, like the 80-90%, just respectable KO above average power, he fights different and he tries to box you more. He showed you that versus David Lemieux and worked behind the jab, which was smart. I mean, you've seen David Lemieux just knocked out Curtis Stevens worse than Golovkin. He got knocked out earlier in his career too, and it was worse than all of those, what David Lemieux just did to Curtis Stevens. So you have to be smart with the guy that has that type of power in his gloves, right? And that's what Golovkin did. He broke his man down. It's like a meat tenderizer and softened him up. Same thing with Danny Jacobs. He wasn't just rushing in and just coming in as aggressive as he normally does. If it's Willie Monroe or a guy he knows he can, like a Dominic Wade, he's like, them guys don't got nothing for me. As a result, he'll try to like bulldoze you and just overwhelm you. But he realized he couldn't do that. I'm sure based on the notion of Jacobs' power, what he did to Kid Chocolate, plus being in there and feeling the thudding punches and heavy hands, you'll know right away who you can do certain things with if you give them a chance to land something, or you get to fill out their power, right? And I really believe that Golovkin realized he couldn't just bulldog and bulldoze Daniel Jacobs. Now, again, Chavez Jr. doesn't fight entirely like Golovkin, but there are some similarities. It's not like we're talking about Chavez Jr. and Floyd Mayweather or Rigondeaux, right? I would say aside from the constant pressure, no matter who you are, they fight and have similarities. I think both Chavez Jr. and Golovkin both have great chins. I mean, that's one thing I was very impressed with Golovkin is he took some, there's some times, I think round 11, he took some flush ass shots. He tucks his chin well, but he never really seemed visibly hurt like that. You know what I mean? I'm sure it hurt him, but not to the point where his body's like naturally reacting or he's running around. So he has a great poker face and he has a hell of a chin. I'm talking about Golovkin. So that's a definite similarity. You could say, oh, but Chavez Jr. got stopped by Fonfara. But if you know boxing, to me, yes, shout out to my dude Fonfara. He's trained out here in the Bay Area. Cool dude, working hard. But from my view of that fight, Chavez was coming off of like a 15-month layoff, dealing with the top-ranked lawsuit. And I really don't think, I think Chavez, he just kind of did a no mas and quit. Like, it's not that he was like so debilitated. He was probably hurt or whatever, but he was just like, he quit, you know what I mean? Because he wasn't having his way. He couldn't outbox Andres Fonfara, and Fonfara was like dominating and winning all the rounds. So he kind of gave up. Like, he got knocked down and he's just like, man, fuck this. I'm just going to collect my paycheck and go. That's what I seen from it. But I don't think he was just like so badly hurt that he just absolutely couldn't continue, because when the fight was stopped, it was stopped in the corner. It was stopped in the middle rounds. So maybe he just felt like the end was near, similar to Luis Collazo versus Keith Thurman, and felt, hey, I can't beat this guy, so I'm going to look for a way out. I don't know. But that's my thoughts on the Chavez stoppage. But bottom line, he has a chin. So there are some similarities between Golovkin and him in terms of just being tough, durable, throwing a good amount of punches, having a chin. So if Canelo gets past him, I think that really prepares him for a fight with Golovkin, because I would say in terms of style, even though they don't fight exactly alike, there's more similarities than there are differences. Meaning, neither Golovkin nor Chavez Jr. is a fighter that uses a bunch of lateral movement and finesse and counter punching and pot shotting and stuff. So you can probably draw more similarities. Plus, they both can punch. Chavez Jr. rehydrates a lot, which will be a heavy task, versus Golovkin's more technical, but he has a big punch for his size and stuff like that. So that's basically what I've seen. And judging from the clip at the beginning, Canelo was motivated. He looks focused. He looks ready. He looks like he's good at the weight. I did an Ego Weight Watchers video on this. So as the fight gets close and we gear up for the fight, I'm looking more and more forward to this fight, because this fight is going to tell me something. And I told you guys from the beginning, Golovkin versus Jacobs is going to be pitted against Canelo versus Chavez, because those are the opponents for each A side, Golovkin and Canelo, that most people give some chance to win. Like, that's their toughest opponent in a few fights, if not ever. You know what I'm saying? Especially like Golovkin, he doesn't have the resume. Canelo has a good resume, but Canelo hasn't fought. His 2016, he fought Amir Khan, a welterweight, who had been knocked out at 35 and 40. And he fought Liam Smith, who nobody had really even heard of this side of America. You know what I mean? So those guys didn't really have a shot. Some people are giving Chavez Jr. a shot with the size differential. You know what I mean? He showed he could withstand and take a beating for 11 half rounds and still pull the trigger to knock Moravia down 2 times, and I think Sergio Martinez has better, craftier feet, you know what I mean? And in terms of evading shots, Canelo's a good fighter, very talented, but his defense is more upper body movement. Like, I haven't seen him like get on his toes, so to speak. But needless to say, Canelo looks like he's in focus mode, and he looks like he's locking down. He's always looked good on mitts to me, and it looks like he's going to carry his power. I told you, I really don't see Canelo not carrying his power up, because power, in addition to just being a natural God-gifted trait, you either have it or you don't, I think Canelo has proper technique, which is going to maximize the impact of his shots. So I told you, Canelo looks good. If he blows through Chavez Jr., I'm changing my prediction of Golovkin beating Canelo, and I'm definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, picking Canelo to beat Golovkin, because I think he's the superior fighter. So if he can take everything that Chavez Jr. has and he does it with ease, like looks extraordinary, then I'm clearly picking him over Golovkin. If he struggles with Chavez Jr., then I don't know. Canelo and Triple G is just a good fight, and I don't know who I'm going to actually side with and pick. So either way, May 6th is a barometer fight, and I'm going to be looking forward to that fight to see what both fighters bring to the table. As for all the Mexico bragging rights, we've seen a more focused, again, check that link in the description. We've seen a more focused Chavez Jr. than we've seen, if not ever, but definitely in recent memory. And we've seen Canelo. He knows what's at stake. He knows he's the heir apparent to Mayweather. You know what I mean? So he has to continue looking good, continue dominating or getting stoppages, stuff like that. Especially, I mean, if you lose to Chavez Jr., the Golovkin fight, who wants to see that? They'll be like, oh, that's why you didn't want to fight Golovkin. So it's a lot of pressure. I think more pressure on Canelo because he's the A side and he's the star. But let me know what you guys think. He looks sharp in training. Looks vicious with the mitt work. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.